some funny voices in school too, but it always got me kicked out of class. I was about 9, almost 10 years old, and my dad had an idea because of those voices I was getting kicked out of class to ask my agent. I was doing theatrical work also, and he decided to ask my agency about doing some animated voices. At the time, there weren't a ton of kids doing it. Mostly the kids were being voiced by adults. And so they said, no, I don't think it's going to be really worth your time. Well, my dad didn't go with that, and he had me put together an audition tape that he sent over to Hanna-Barbera. And I ended up being cast in my first voiceover role in the Flintstone Kids. Oh, that's it.
I did turn that off. So if you have any questions for these nice gentlemen, come up in the line up here.
Doc Parker, do you have any regrets that your character Pterosaur died at the start of season 2?
I absolutely do. I was hoping it would be more like a soap opera where they figure out how metaverse kind of thing should transcendental. There's some way of bringing it back, and I was kind of hopeful that I'd get a call in a week or two. We did the shows like once a week, but it never happened. So I became an electrician.
Pterosaur, may your scar rest in peace.
Artist out of Florida got commissioned to do a pterosaur. It was a sort of a pterosaur Tigertron mashup after pterosaur rose up from the lava and mutated with other transformers. It was a story that got floated around that didn't happen, but it's got a little Tigertron spots on it. It's kind of cool.
As for you, Uncle Robinson, so what was it like playing a character like that, a character with 3 faces, Blitzwing in particular?
It was amazing. It wasn't as far off from me as I'm a Gemini, so I have at least 3 faces. So it was a lot of fun. It was a sort of spur of the moment thing that happened in one of our sessions. And during the run of it, Director Sulu would sometimes ask different actors, to do characters that were coming into the fold. And if you aren't comfortable doing it, or if you feel like it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse, it'll get moved to the next professional. And the one thing about working with voice actors is that we're some versatile people. So, talk about pressure. It's like you're literally auditioning while you're working. So, but it was fun. I love doing that character.
Could you
That's what he gets for
repeat where Bumblebee was trying to taunt Blitzwing into transforming into his techno mode while flying midair?
I wish I had a photographic memory. I don't remember the words that the dialogue. I just read. It was 137.
Oh, I do remember those exact words. And who uses eyes as a weapon? I mean, what are you, a refrigerator?
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't have to do it now.
I'll give you more than you can handle. Also, I'm not a cat.
I'll give you more than you.
So I would say it's like one of my favorite Bumblebee versus Blitzwing fights, besides the one in the movie. It's basically you yelling at yourself. And by the way, Doug Parker, was it hard trying to do that tidal wave voice as opposed to your squawky voice as pterosaur?
Tidal wave's easy because it's just black metal.
Thank you.
This is a special question for Bubba Robinson. I saw you in this classic called The Jacksons and American Dream. Could you tell me your experience working on that?
That was an honor working on that show, that miniseries. It was I was a senior in high school, so if you're dating me. That was 1992. I had to sing, dance, and act at the audition. It was a little old school, or kind of New Yorkish in the manner which I wasn't used to doing. It was a tough audition process. It was an incredible filming process. We worked in Pittsburgh for about, I want to say about 4 months. I missed the last 4 months of my senior year in high school doing it. Missed my prom, but I got to be in an amazing project. So I have many, many amazing memories.
I also watched that boxes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Doug, how did you come up with the voice for Pterosaur? Were you given Chris Slaughter's material to review, or his work, or did something else inspire it?
No, I was given the model, the 3D model, I knew what he looked like, and a short description and conniving through the this and that. And I looked at it and I went, how would he laugh? And I kind of looked at him. And just sort of developed the voice based on his laugh.
Thank you both.
Hello, my question is for both Doug Parker and Bubba Robinson. So, what do you consider to be the roles you've had the most fun voicing, whether it's Transformers related or any other projects you've worked on?
For me, there's something special in each one. One of my favorite processes is to be able to see artwork. I feel like the artwork itself kind of speaks what the sound is a little bit. But sometimes we don't get that benefit because these days where things are leaked and stuff, they like to keep things close to vest, right? So each time though, to be able to breathe the sound, the character, into life is for me really special. I guess for me, some of them stand out a little more than others, but maybe for me, honestly, like my first job was one of the most special. I worked with Sue Blue, Frank Welker, some old school folks, Lenny Weinrib, Hamilton Camp, Scott Menville, and it was directed by Gordon Hunt, so it was, and obviously to work in Hanna-Barbera was an incredible way to start. So for that, it stands out. Recently though, I would have to say probably Transformers, doing both of those characters, and then working on Ben 10, Omniverse.
I mean, W, man.
Good question. I get me thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I of course love making time to Transformers. Playing Pterosaur was the best, and of course having the honor and opportunity to do Starscream for season 1, episode 21 session was amazing. And but I concur. The first ever big series role I got was a cheesy little number called Captain and the Game Master. I don't know if I could do the voice anymore. It probably sound like Putt Lie or Tidal Wave.
Very cool.
That was the last. And then the other show that I had the most fun with was just a special. It was Tales from the Far Side. And Gary Larson came up and directed us. And it was just vocals and weird sounds, which as you may know, I'm kind of doing. And yeah, if you ever see the DVD or something, it's just
Mega Man.
super funny and fun. The animated Gary Larson specials.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, I have one more thing. There was a party after the wrap of the Gary Larson, and he was there, and the actors and some of the animators and voice directors, and they took the picture up on an ice sculpture, and I put my hand behind Gary Larson's. And my wife was like, "How could you?" And then a couple years later, she says, "I get it."
Doug Parker, you voiced both Transformers series from the East and from the West, so surely you must have seen like how difficult it was translating the Japanese to English. So for both of you, my question is, were you have any experiences in which you experienced dubbing, translating movies where dialogue was lost in translation, and did you get a chance to see that improve over time?
Sure. Transformers, our motto is just, I think Terry Klassen directed it, and I think he polished it as well. So every time you came into a session, it was pristine and perfect. We hardly had to do anything. But I also worked on Dragon Ball stuff when it first came out. And I don't know if you've seen the original Dragon Ball, but they couldn't show a lot of this stuff translated into English, so there was a lot of confusion in how is this thing going to work. And we had to come up with, between the director and the producer and the actor, you kind of on the spot or think, let's try this instead. The producer at the time would go, if you like him to go, I'd on him. Move on to the next line.
Yeah, ditto. No, for me, it's, I think the projects that I worked on were kind of, mostly for me, originated here, so I didn't have to deal with what would be, you're asking, going that way, east. But I've done some dubbing where things don't translate necessarily outright, or just weren't in time for the session. So sometimes I would get entrusted with, what do you think he would say? Which is always easier. But it was kind of a combination of working with producing, writing, directing, and then me last. I'm just going, yeah, it's not good, yeah. Absolutely.
And so just add to that, sometimes the writers would get really lazy and they would just go ad lib, walla, etc.
This is for Doug Parker. I would not love Pterosaur as much as I did without the voice to go with him. I don't know what it is. Like, I like Starscream, I like Pterosaur. I think as soon as a man starts screaming, I'm like, I need to marry him. So what was it like to have to scream like that? Like his screeches and whatnot.
Yeah, it was easier then than it is now. But we'll see tomorrow at script reading if I can still do it.
Wait, what?
There's a lot of squawks and screeches in there. I don't want to wreck myself.
I don't know if he said script reading, but I need to see that for myself.
Thank you.
And if Prince wasn't such a hoe, he would be here right now.
As voice actors, a lot of people have,
Some my personal favorites. Probably sitting and listen. I've done a couple of episodes of Curious George over the years. Listening to Frank Welker, listening to Jeff Bennett. I sometimes forgot I was even working. I would have to say those two, and then Eric Bowles is pretty damn good. Tara, the whole cast of Transformers animated that I was in, seriously, I would ask. It never made it to an episode, but Corey Burton does an amazing Jack Benny, and we would get in trouble because I would ask him to say certain things for me in my phone. So.
One of my favorites is Billy West as Stimpy. Charlie Adler? Who did Cow and Chicken?
That's Charlie Adler.
That's icons.
Question for Bumper. If you could still do all three voices, can you do a couple of lines from Blitzwing's voice?
Well, let's see. Sometimes it will be sitting here looking at you. Oh, of course you're sitting there looking at me. She's standing right in front of you. And then it was like, yes, she's there. She smiled.
Unfortunately, I feel like most of the questions I had to ask were taken up. I'm a new Transformers fan. I just finished Gen 1 and I just started Beast Force, so the news about Pterosaur is pretty devastating.
Wow! Instant spoiler! Oof. That's an oof.
Sorry?
What were you guys' thoughts on Transformers 1? Have either of you seen it?
Oh, genius. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that than any other Transformers iteration. Steve Buscemi's Starscream just rocked it. I love it. Even the choke version, sort of auto-tune or whatever they did to it, was just great. All the acting was just perfect. Even Scarlett Johansson, every movement, it's like, because when you're acting, you're just, sitting in a room with a script and a mic, and you have to put that action into it. And the animation and the directing, it's just the look, it was perfect.
I haven't seen it yet.
Wow.
I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to soon.
I look for that as some culture.
Appreciate it.
This is exactly what I hope happens going forward. So not keeping them in the theaters.
Moving character was your favorite from Transformers?
I would have to say maybe the episode where Blitzwing scans a tank and what else did he scan? A jet, a tank. Yeah, I think that episode. Some of these I haven't seen in quite some time, so it's difficult for me to remember off the top which ones I like, but that one stands out to me. There's a lot of conversation with himself. I really, one of my favorites actually was playing Principal Bump in Our House. I really liked playing him. When I first read his name, I was like, I gotta have this.
Exactly.
That I'm actually playing a character, I'm playing Lucius Fox on Batman Cape Crusader right now. Feel, I've never really done kind of a more serious, noirish feel, so that's been a lot of fun.
And we just started rewatching it again. You're good at Transformers.
Pardon?
We watched Transformers animated I showed it to my parents.
Awesome.
So between the two of you are hundreds of voices, hundreds of performances. How do you make each one distinct and unique?
Have I? Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, there's still, as much as I love it, there's still the aspect of it being a job. So we have a duty to kind of, it's difficult to describe being a voice actor, an actor in general. Your job's never secure. So I think if we don't make sure we keep it distinct, the director will play back what we've done previously and say, no, you need to sound like him. So there's always a reminder and a guide to keep us in line. But ever since I was little, the opportunity to fool my friends, with my teachers, or entertain myself alone has always kind of developed. Now I have kids do the same crap, and my parents wish came true.
As they should.
Yeah, and sometimes, like with myself, I've always done creatures or characters in parts that are not at all like my own voice. I've hardly ever used my own voice, but I find young actors that end up using their own voice for the hero will audition for the hero of another show, and you can't play, Legends of Chima, this guy, because you were that guy, and they have to separate the brands, right? So that's always a problem. Thank you.
I said it.
I have a question regarding what you said about ad-libbing. So how much of your material stays on script and how much is improvised? And do you always just read the lines as written? For an aspiring writer, I'm curious.
That's a good question. I love to improvise, but I don't get paid to write, so I definitely get kept in check. Sometimes, depending on the project you're working on, a director will give you an opportunity to take a couple passes after they already have what they need, and we'll do this take for you, and I appreciate that. Most of the time, though, these scripts are fine-tooth combed. The stories are pretty much nailed down before we get into record. So there's not a lot of, at least in my experience, there's not a lot of room where I get to really add so much. Every once in a while, though, I am playing a character on Spidey and His Amazing Friends. I just started doing a lizard, and he is a sort of over-the-top, zany criminal, but super likable for little kids. So I've been kind of given some room to kind of make him a little bit of what I like too, and that's been rare for me, actually, to be honest.
And just add to that, quite often the writer will be at the recording session, and as everyone goes, I don't know, does that work? And the writer will go, hang on a second, and we'll give you the line. So as an aspiring writer, you will and do get invited to sessions.
Thank you for the good insight.
Absolutely.
So I was wondering, you mentioned earlier when you first saw Terror Store, thought about how he laughed. I wonder if that's, for both of you, is that an often kind of process of finding an anchor to build a character off of? Did you see the design?
Yeah, well, I looked at him and how would he laugh if he's a ditch digger? And how would he laugh if he's a multi-billionaire? There's a big difference.
do run out of voices, at least I do, and I will, if I get stuck and have a voice block, I'll do the character in a random voice or something that I think I do a little bit better that will free up. When I hear that back, it'll be so far off of what I need to do that it kind of directs me in the direction of something that's closer to what I feel they're looking for. I probably don't get any of those jobs, but I try it.
And often, and I'm sure you've done this, you'll come up with a line that pulls you into that character. This is one phrase or something that I've seen all actors do it. They'll just be playing the character and all of a sudden drift off of their character and I'll go, "What's your signature line?" "Oh yeah." And you're right back. So it's not just a laugh, you can find that one thing to grab onto.
Yeah.
Thank you, for sure.
This is for Doug. This is sort of jumping off of an earlier question, but did you have any sort of regimen for taking care of your voice when you were doing such a loud, screechy role?
Black halls.
Specifically the black
Oh,
ones.
yeah, they're triple strength. I got the yellow ones for today, and these ones are for tomorrow.
Thank you.
So I have a couple questions for each of you. For Bumper, with Bliss Swing, when you changed voices, were you able to do like all three voices in one take, or was it like, all right, I see Bliss Swing once, cut, Bliss Swing next cut, then crazy cut?
It would vary depending on how much dialogue was there or how sharp I was or wasn't that day. So the beauty of being able to, sometimes the stream of performances is really valuable. Sometimes to make sure we get what we need, it's not being live, it's always we can go back and get it separately.
And did Sue direct that?
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, Sue would go, okay, use that part from tape 33 and use that one. She has a mind auditory memory of knowing exactly how to piece together perfectly.
I've heard nothing but good things about Sue as a director.
Oh, yeah.
And for Doug, you mentioned that you basically you like got Pterosaur's voice down after like just looking at a photo of him. But once everything was like complete, because Beast Wars at the time was a very groundbreaking cartoon because it was like one of its first of its kind using like 3D animation. What was it like after doing so much like 2D work, then all of a sudden like you see this brand shiny new 3D thing at the time, like with your character and voice?
Well, Mainframe had done a reboot like just a couple years earlier, so I'd seen that, and I knew that they were working on Beast Wars next. And I actually started up a little 3D company myself back in the day, but we were just doing commercials and things. But then Mainframe came along, and all my guys went, I think they're going to sign up for that. So I welcome 3D. I think it's all done, and I loved it.
Fantastic. Thank you both for what you do.
All right, so I've got a couple questions for both of you. First of all, I'm just going to say it outright, animated is my favorite Transformers, and even really TV show ever. Like, I just think it's hilarious. I rewatch it all the time.
Appreciate that.
So for Bumper Robinson, what made you decide to work on Transformers animated to begin with?
Bills.
And as far as like Bumblebee and Blitzwing both go, did you have a preference of which one you liked to play more?
When I started doing the show, I was only doing Bumblebee. I can't remember how far it was until Blitzwing came in, but
It was season 1, episode 11, and I know that because
for me to be able to play. There's something about being able to lose yourself in a timeless manner in animation. And I think that for me, you know, those super lovable sounding and looking, Derek White's character design on him, to me, I love him. He has a special place for art, obviously, but he in particular was really special to me.
Yeah, I get that. He's really special to me too, if you couldn't tell. Okay, and for Doug Parker, this is kind of a silly question, but why was Beast Wars so weird?
You like that though?
I like that. It's just like, it gives me second-hand embarrassment.
I mean, if Gale's to Transformers 1.
Which is unfortunate, but it's the key.
Yeah, thank you both. Who's your favorite Transformers?
Who's my favorite Transformer to act, or just who's my favorite Transformer? Waspinator.
Literally.
Mine was Bumblebee.
I don't know if I can anymore. It's been a while. I'm great.
He literally asked me to record him, and I'm gonna do that. And when I post this shit, he's gonna regret not being here on time.
Did you have a specific favorite episode or scene before working on that show?
There was, forgive my memory, but there was an episode where we went to Rook's planet and met his family. That was particularly fun because I was given the room to create that dialect. Matt Youngberg and Derek Wyatt asked me to come up with, you know, having it sound like something that you think it would sound like. And to watch everyone who was playing parts of my family and then other folks on the planet was really interesting because when there were questions about the dialect, they had to come to me. I had no idea what to tell them, but I faked it and we came up pretty well.
I just not remember the episode name. I think it was Whale in Space in season 2.
I think it was.
Alright, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hey.
I have a question for both of you. Like, how did it feel when you both started acting? Like when you both just like when it was time to when they recorded, how did you feel about it?
You okay?
Still haven't learned to act. I just do silly voices. I think, like I said, my first show was Mega Man in Captain in the Game. I guess I was super nervous, you know, at first because it's a big responsibility and you don't want to blow it. And, you know, at the young too, 23 or 4 or something like that. And, so nervous, but I got through it. We all help each other. Like actors are really good that way. You know, giving each other sort of ideas and helping prop you all up. Your teammates all together.
For me, I was 5 years old and I did a commercial with Bill Cosby, Jello Pudding Pops commercial, and I was 4. I did really well in the audition, didn't know what I was doing, and then I got the part, went through the commercial, and I froze. I was scared. So my memories of that was Bill Cosby going, I can't hear you. And then they moved me to the other earliest memories I have, famous, in front of a lot of people. But after that, it's been pretty fun.
Like, how did you guys feel like when it was like late in the series of Transformers and you guys were still acting? How do you guys feel about that part?
There's a saying that I always say is nothing's for sure until the third paycheck is cash. You don't know, they can kill you off. I've been in a lot of shows where a performer on the first episode gets fired and they bring someone else in to redo their stuff, and they got it from there on in. So 3 episodes in and you know you're okay.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same. I learned very young, probably around your age, that entertainment is an industry of twos, T-double-O. You can be too tall, too short, too bald, too whatever. There's always a reason that you can lose your job. So you never get too comfortable. Try to do your best. And even then, if you've done a show for years, that show can disappear because of something that happens in the network for that. So I've never really felt secure. I don't feel secure now. Good question.
Thank you very much.
I'm a big fan of both of you guys. Well, I just had a quick question. 2 quick questions. You said Bumblebee, you both like Joyce and Bumblebee better than Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and number 2 is that I dragged my girlfriend out. And I'm a big Transformer fan. She's a big Different World fan. So she just wanted to know how your experiences when you were in a different world. Worked with Jaden and that.
Yeah. That's interesting. I started working on Different World a couple of months after I did Jackson's American Dream. I literally went from graduating high school, and I was truly a freshman in college when I was working on Different World. And it actually changed my course of going to college. While I was working on Different World, I was apprentice directing with Debbie Allen, and had an incredible education, like working with that amazing cast, working with her. One of the highlights of my career, certainly working with those folks. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hope I made it happy.
All right.
Big fan of your work.
Appreciate it.
That's one of my challenges growing up. Just want to thank you for making all of our challenges. So if you were given the opportunity to voice another character other than the ones you've got, who would it be and how would you approach it?
For me, that's an easy question. I would say it would be projects that you haven't seen yet. I'm working on my own stuff right now. I've got a writing partner. I was in the process of creating what I think is a fantastic show with Derek Wyatt when he passed unexpectedly. And we're still trying to bring that show together. I think it would be an amazing opportunity for myself and other folks that I've worked with over the years and folks that I haven't worked with that I want to. It's a show about 2 black motorcycle cops called Chocolate Chips. I hope
Yeah. This is your president. That's what he gets when you talk here.
Don't know the character I would like to play, but
The Wasp Eater?
no, the Transformers Wasp Eater. How about Driz DeWarden?
Yes!
Like, I don't understand why we haven't seen Forgotten Realms stuff. It's especially when we look at the Guardians of the Galaxy and how well that was going. The look, right? I can't see anything salvageable. That'd be amazing. That stuff. sure somebody's working on a good version of it, but it doesn't make sense. Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power, why don't we see Forgotten Realms?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, real quick. Most pressing question everybody here, I'm sure, needs to know is, what do you guys love on your pizza? What's your favorite topping?
Oh my God.
Just you. What do you have on your pizza?
Mine's it's a mix. It's mushrooms, pepperoni, green pepper, because together it tastes like
Wow. That just blew my mind.
Alright, what do you think about that follow-up? Pineapple, yes or no?
Oh, pineapple, yes.
Okay. That's it, that's all. Thank you.
I was wondering, did Hasbro ever send you like memorabilia or merch? Like I know there's a new animated Bumblebee figure. Did you think they send you that?
No.
Wow! Wow!
No. I bought some stuff. It's funny because I never got around to getting some of the stuff that I wanted to, and now it's hard to find some and a lot more than what it used to be. But no, I'm still waiting for that package.
Yeah, they sent me stuff. I have two also the Terrasaur bubble wrap original. I was thinking of bringing them. I was like, I wonder what I could get for this. Maybe like $250. I go around $250.
And I'm calling my agent.
I do have a little